what's up, Steve? How you doing? All right, how's everything? That's good. Hey.
Yes, sir. How you doing, sir? All the alumni are down here, boy. This is cool here.
What, this is the background? Nice.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, man? How you been?
Yeah, okay, good seeing you, man. So why don't you talk about, this brings back memories.
Bring back memories, yeah.
Well, I'm Rob Loffridge. I was a producer here at Access SF here at
What did you produce? What did you produce here?
Well, the first show I ever produced was a talk show called The Voice. It was about contemporary social issues. And then from that, it segued. I got together with some of the producers here, and I actually queried them. I said, "Hey, what you guys think, guys? And what do you think about if we producers here in San Francisco, since so many of us are doing socially relevant things on issues that aren't covered by the corporate press, by the local corporate press, if we have our own news show?" And a lot of people were into that, so I organized a news show. We called it Newsroom on Access SF. We actually won a WAVE award. We got nominated for a local Northern California Emmy, which was good. We went up against KGO, KPIX, and that. But basically, the gist of the show was, I noticed from working on a lot of the other shows, people were doing things like neighborhood issues, labor issues, LGBT, transgender issues, all the various demographics, not only local, but nationwide and worldwide. So I said, well, if we all got together and pooled our talents, we could do something that you don't see on the corporate news. And so we could make our own news show here at Public Access, only make it, professional, and make it world events, and make it relevant. And that's what we did, because everybody has, their own demographics, their own contacts, so on and so forth. So we brought it all together, and it was a huge success. The thing that made it a success was not, me producing it or anything like that. It was the fact that the community got together. It was when you talk about public access or community access. The thing that makes, yes, we lost our building, we lost our studio, they had cameras and everything else, but the thing that makes community is the people. Everything I learned, I've since gone on to have my own video production, and everything I learned about how do you do this show?
All right, good to see you, man. Alumni, this history down here, man. Years of history. There's more history here years than it is City Hall down there. If you put this all together.
The shameful thing about it is those people don't recognize. They don't touch. This is not.
No, they don't know
on their level.
No,
people that run public access today,
they don't know nothing about this. How we started off 20 years ago on the Dangerous George. They don't know nothing about the concept of public access.
Well, like everything else in public access is imploding. There are a number of reasons for that, but and I'm sure that's been well documented.
Talk about it.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. Some of it had to do with mismanagement of how the station was run.
How did that?
Well, basically, when we did have the facility, so that was good. We had the studio and that sort of thing. Right? We noticed that a lot of equipment that should have been available to us, things that were allocated for public access, were not being used for public access. Such as, for instance, we had a studio in a box that was supposed to be for the producers here, and then as it turned out, to even get the use of that was so cumbersome. We had to take a multitude of classes. We had to work with it a number of times, which I can understand that you want to know what you're doing, but then you had to have like a couple of facilitators with you to use it. Facilitators are employees of the station. So it turned out that it really wasn't for our use at all, but it was for the station's use. So, things of that nature. And then, later I found out that, money allocated for use at the studio. Towards the end, we started seeing new equipment. But where was that new equipment then? I remember I went to City Hall so many times, to fight for this studio to keep it open.
Yes.
And we'd hear from people like in Santa Rosa, and they talk about, we've got 5 editing suites and 3 dubbing stations and 6 cameras for checkout. And this stuff would just make my jaw hit the ground. It's like they've got 3 times as much as we do, and they're Santa Rosa.
I know.
Yeah. So where's the money that's being allocated for us being spent on us?
For us.
Yeah. Yeah. So things like this. So then when it finally imploded, and now it's gone over to Bayback, and they self-admittedly, we don't know how to run a public access station. And I can understand. We all started fresh. Not knowing anything, and you come in fresh, whether you're coming in as a green producer as I did, as all of us did.
Yeah,
or if you're just starting out the studio. But one of their big mistakes, and I believe their biggest mistake, and of course there may be big ones, because I've really since cut ties
They got
with
some
them.
big ones now.
Yeah, was that, okay, you don't know how to run it,
Yes.
but you got 200 and some odd people here that do.
Exactly.
Not a one of us was asked for our expertise.
Nah, nah.
You know, we have people here, sure, some people had 1 year of experience. At that time I had 8 or 9.
Yeah.
You had people with 10, 15, 20, 25 years of
From the
experience.
inception.
You had producers, you had facilitators, you had people that had worked with public access from the ground up.
Yes,
Not
yes.
a one of us was asked a single question about, okay,
yeah.
I don't know how to do this, how do I do it? I know when I went in there, even after taking the classes, if someone would say, do you want, like my weakest thing was the audio board. So if someone ever wanted me to work audio, I'd say, well, I don't know it that well, can you help me? What do I need to do? I asked the other producers, and that's how I learned.
That's right.
You know, things about the camera, things about directing, things about hosting a show. How to double tape. I didn't know how to get a tape from one format to another until producer showed me how to do it.
Yes.
I knew how to turn on the camera, but when people said, is it white balance? It's like, white what?
Yes.
But I learned this from producers. I learned about shutter speed. I learned about
We're
gain.
down at Channel 29, man. We're down on Market
they
Street.
get
Come on down. All the producers down
franchise
here, baby.
for
Channel
public
29.
access. Admittedly, they know
Down here
nothing
at
about
Channel
it, and
29,
they
man.
don't
You're supposed
ask
to be
us
down.
not a
Oh, yeah,
single
Market
question.
Street. That's where I'm at
And
right
the
now.
thing is, now what they want to do, their thing is, well, don't come to the studio. You know, tape your show at home, edit your show at home, upload it on the internet, and leave us the hell alone. We don't want to see you. We don't want to see a thing about you. We don't want to hear from you.
We got your money too.
Right, right. And the money that's being allocated for public access is going just to them. There is no line of demarcation between what is the Bayback classes. What they do well. I mean, I learned to edit at Bayback. But about public access, they don't know. And the money that's allocated for public access is being given to Bayback for public access is not going to public access.
You know,
okay, so the thing, so that's why I cut ties with them, because like I say, we were asked not to question the first. They self-admittedly don't know what to do it, and what they have done when they talk about public access or community access, that does not exist anymore.
No
because
more.
As I said before, sure, you can have a physical space, you can have cameras, operating boards, everything else, but community and community access is the people. The only reason I was able to do my shows, especially the newsroom, one that got nominated for an Emmy and won a Wave Award, was because of the community.
That's right.
And that was the people. If it weren't for the people here, if it weren't for the other producers at Access SF, there would have never been a newsroom on Access SF.
That's right.
Because what made the show, the only thing that made the show was the people that participated in it, the people that came on the show, the guests that we brought in, the people that crewed the show.
That's right.
That was the community. And Bayback has totally decimated any aspect of community. That means they have decimated community access or public access.
Well, they say that they're training young people to do news programs, to community access, community centers, and that kind of thing. What's about that?
You know, I don't really know about that, because like I said, I wash my hands of it, but they may be showing them how to use the equipment and how to edit that sort of shit. Like I say, I'm not there. I have washed my hands with them. I just so disgusted, so I can't really speak to that. But I do know this. If what they are training them to do is what they have trained or what they have allocated for the current producers, sure, you may show someone how to edit and how to use a camera, but you are not going to allow them to get together as a community, to come together as a community and produce as a community. And how can you have a news show if you don't have community?
Rod, let's do this together. You're absolutely right about that. The thing is, can we do this together? Yeah.
Well, I just want to know. I don't want to debate.
Well, it's not that. It's that I'm agreeing with him, or somebody else get it then.
Okay, I got you. I got you.
The problem is that they have gutted the public out of public access. They have totally obliterated it. And not only that, they were sort of coerced into having a community advisory board. And that community advisory board has been decimated because they have, in a very draconian kind of a way, demanded that we sign a document that we were highly suspicious of and had questions about. And they said, if you don't sign this document, you are off of this community advisory board today. And 3 of us refused to sign it. You know, I mean, we had some serious questions about it. And not only that, a 4th person resigned from the board a week later even after I did come back and sign the document, they said, no, you're off the board, right? This is the head of what they call public access, and it's bogus. And so this is what they have done. They have taken the money and used it to support their ongoing efforts as a nonprofit agency called Bayback. And when it comes to public access and what they call SF Commons, they've gutted public access out of the whole concept of what the spirit of public access is about. Is exactly what you said.
And
it's
isn't
about
that
the
what
public.
corporations do when they buy other
if we can't get
corporations?
together as a community, then there's no community access.
They say that they don't have the money for the studio, to staff the studio.
Well, not only that, they're not bringing in the volunteers like Rod was saying, the people that have been doing public access for years, that do have experience, and do need a place where they can congregate and produce, programming to benefit and raise the awareness of the public of what's happening in our community.
So who are they representing?
Bayback.
The nonprofit, Bayback, it's all about their money.
How much money
their
are they
budget. Well, I understand their budget is around $5 million, so that's pretty hefty, you know.
And how much of that is coming from the city for community access?
We don't know yet. We don't know. We need, as somebody else was saying, we need to have an inspection,
a full investigation,
and an audit of what's happening with the staff, and an audit of what's happening with the money.
And Barry Fraser, I thought they have somebody oversighting the contract.
Right. And
And
of course,
what happened?
They moved Barry Fraser to a whole other department.
Yeah, he moved on. No.
So, you know,
Now the board
It's a
meetings.
shell game.
Did you know about the board meetings and what happened at these board meetings?
barely did. In fact, the last board meeting, which they never have open, they've never made the board minutes available so we can see what are they discussing regarding public access. They know that I have been, you know, strategically involved with building a public access facility here, this facility.
You built it. You helped build it too.
I was president of the board. I signed all the checks that built this place. I had to approve everything. Our board had to approve everything. And with that expertise, they have never asked me once. They don't even have any committees on their board. They have no understanding of what it takes to really engage the public and engage them in a meaningful way.
But the board that runs that, a lot of them don't even know that.
Oh yeah. Well, I can't say that for sure, but yeah.
They
Okay,
have people
so
from all over the country.
so there you
You
go.
have the national board running the community
They're
access station.
really disengaged. Yeah. Well, the board is definitely limited. I mean, they don't. They really
Well,
don't
what
know
happened to Kenneth
how.
Data?
Yeah. What happened to Kenneth? We don't know.